This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Hope you guys had a great holiday again. Sorry for the lack of content today, but I'm kind of tired. But I'm going to find as much stuff as possible. Here's a funny one. So Jay Prince Jr. and Jazz Prince were in a room. Joe Budden was in there. And Jay Prince Jr. felt it was time to press Joe Budden. He doesn't like the way Joe Budden criticizes artists and doesn't reach out to them from behind the scenes and stuff like that. Now, honestly, Joe Budden is media now, and I understand that Jay Prince Jr. doesn't really like media, like criticizing what he considers youngsters, which are kids in their 20s. But honestly, kids in their 20s are adults, you know? And yeah, they make mistakes and all that, and you can say that, and you don't have to go too hard on them. Like he really went hard at Lil Yachty and Migos. I'm talking about Joe Budden. But Joe Budden was trying to make a name for himself at that point. I would be honest with you. Like he was trying to really stand out in media when he was at Complex, and when he's on his podcast, I mean, he's doing media. You know what's funny? Like it's not anything different than what CNN and Fox News does. They just do it with politics and different stuff. The same thing happens in entertainment. So I just thought it was funny that Jay Prince Jr. decided to. I think he has a personal problem with Joe Budden. Honestly, I mean, it seemed like that. You can listen to it for yourself. I have total respect for the Jay Prince and his sons and everything. They do amazing stuff, and they're entitled to their opinions, and there's nothing wrong with it. And they live on morals and principles that a lot of people don't live on. That's actually very rare nowadays. I mean, I have my morals and principles, but I'm sure he doesn't like what I do. I've only met them once or twice in my whole life. And they probably don't even remember, It was when I was with Ron Artest once, and one time when Bun B was shooting a video in Atlanta. Very nice guys, and I have nothing but respect for them. And their dad, they command respect, and they do amazing things and pave the way. Their father paved the way and made a blueprint for the music industry. So a different way to go. So anyways, listen to this. He pretty much presses Joe Budden here, and it's a funny back and forth. But it seems he has a personal problem with one thing he did, and he just wasn't talking about it. But I don't know. It's interesting. I trimmed it down so you don't have to listen to too long of a segment. Anyways, guys,
more intellectual than I am. And not even that, let's just have an intellectual conversation. But I know that's hard to talk. Yeah, it's hard to come by a bunch of people because they know I really come from that. Joe, you just want to move on to somebody else?
No, man, I'm just here listening.
Ain't that much to listen to, my brother. It's just us having a conversation. And it's a light conversation. I know what he's done to others already. I want to see him reciprocate that same energy to me.
Junior answered all his boy questions.
And what if he can't give you that same?
Tell him to say that, and we can keep on moving. He can move on and ask somebody else a question. I know how he like to, go with this wiggle on other niggas. Go with this wiggle on me.
So this is the question game in here.
This is the what?
So y'all were playing the question game in here?
Nah, it's your question game in here.
I don't have any questions.
I'll based upon you.
Oh, I don't have any questions.
The question is, do you have a question to ask Junior?
No.
Because I see that you reciprocate negative energy to certain individuals. I wanted to see if you can reciprocate that energy to me, and we just can have an intellectual conversation. You talk to a bunch of dummies, and I don't want to discredit any niggas, but you talk to a bunch of niggas who don't know how to speak and can't articulate themselves in the right manner to deliver the right message. But can you do that with a man who can decipher himself in the proper manner? can you have that conversation with a guy whom can exemplify himself in the way he need to be exemplified instead of the manner that you try to portray him?
And Jay, I can have any conversation with any man.
Then have a conversation with me.
I do not think that I run around spewing negativity the way that it sounds like you think. I don't think that at all, actually.
Okay, I understand. I understand your message then. You be pressing niggas that ain't ready to be pressed. And
You
then
guys are in the
you let
same
it be known
experience.
that you got situations with guys that ain't even know they had a situation with you, but you just stand on it.
Nah, I don't think that's
Like,
my energy. Yachty,
I'm telling you what's transpiring. You might not think that's what you displaying, but we telling you what you displaying.
Hey,
I just
Junior,
want to know what
Junior,
made you get. What
Junior,
made you get
I ain't
into
gonna lie.
business?
He ain't did nothing like on his podcast. I listened to him. He ain't did nothing but show respect to all the vibes. So I don't know.
I understand your perspective. I've been told you to exit the building.
Damn.
I think if we speak to Lil Yachty or any of the people that y'all think that type of interview went that way, like today, Yachty would say he appreciates that. He appreciated that back then.
Yeah, I think about all the people that you told I don't like you. I don't
All
like
publicity
y'all.
and good publicity.
I ain't your music. Like you know, you understand how many times you done said this on multiple occasions.
So why not send that
I don't.
nigga some
Yeah, but I
music?
don't. But I don't think that's. I don't think that's personal.
I mean, if
So
you
you wasn't
if you invite
picking
if you invite somebody to your platform and then disrespect them, it's personal.
So you
Complex
wasn't
wasn't
picking
his
no steak out
platform.
there?
I
So you
mean
wasn't
that
picking no
because you
steak
know
out
who
there
coming
interview?
and you know you don't like them already. So regardless of if somebody else line that platform up, you know what's transpiring with that platform.
You know, I'm only talking about this Yachty interview because that's the one that stands out in this type of
I mean,
conversation.
it's all good. Don't worry about it. I ain't worried about it.
And that was my very
Right,
first interview, by the way.
Hey Joe,
You done disrespected a bunch of niggas on your platform though. I done watched it.
But I'm saying that I don't think talking about a nigga's music negatively is disrespecting them personally.
I mean, you ain't had to bring me to your platform to do that. So it is negatively when you try to put me on the forefront to do so. You could have called my phone and gave me constructive criticism rather than put me on the internet for everybody to see this. It's a difference. And you an older nigga, so you should know that. You should know that you could call the little homies and let them know, hey man, this ain't what's transpiring, rather than trying to put them on the platform where everybody can hear it. For you to give your message. You could have gave him a message in 100 different other ways. I guess I'm talking to myself now, right?
Nah, yo, that kind of makes sense what you saying though.
No, nigga, it do make sense. How you gonna say it kind of do?
Kind of makes sense, but at the
How
same
you gonna
token,
say it kinda-
but
Hey, man.
Junior,
Hey,
he
hey.
media though. So he got to talk about things that drop. You feel me?
That's cool. He media. Be
but he know
media
where
the
he
right
come
way.
from, so he got to be held accountable.
Be media the right way. Why the fuck you speak on everything that I say for him?
Not really. I'm just having a conversation.
That's cool. We can have a conversation. Just chill though. You ain't gotta respond to everything I say though, cause that's what you've been doing.
Right there, a.k.a. Hitmaker, a.k.a. Youngberg gets G-checked by Jay Prince Jr. saying, hey, man, I'm not even speaking to you. I'm speaking to Joe Budden. It's like, he keeps inserting himself in the conversation. Then he's like, no, you're right, bro. You're right. I got you.
Let him speak for himself.
I'll be quiet too.
Yeah, no, I never looked at it that way, to be honest with you.
What other way is it to look at it though, Joe?
Like I just said, running the podcast and critiquing music without it without it being a personal shot at nobody that you're critiquing.
But you gotta understand that nigga, everybody got emotions and everybody got feelings, right? Because everybody man. So if you want to criticize me in public, why you can't criticize me in private?
Nah.
Now
I
what?
criticize my friends and the people I love and care about in private and in public. Like, that's a courtesy. Are you saying
I ain't never heard you criticize your wife in public. That's somebody you care about. You criticize her in public, and that's no disrespect.
I'm not married? Are you talking about my son's mom?
I'm talking about your girlfriend and anybody else. I never heard you criticize them in public other than on TV where you got recognition for that too.
I have a long time ago when I was a little immature. I tend not to move that way at 40.
Exactly. So I'm saying, why are you moving like that with youngsters? Because we older. Why are you moving like that with youngsters?
My stance is I don't.
My stance is that you do. You won't criticize somebody that you can give constructive criticism behind closed doors where it might actually be a positive influence in their life. You rather give it to them in public and it be a negative influence in their life. And then you got to deal with what you got to deal with, and they got to deal with what they got to deal with. Now it's a problem. Now you created an animosity that it didn't need to be created, because you could have said the same thing that you said in public behind closed doors, and then would have gave them more meaning. You speak on certain contexts and you speak on certain situations so people can laugh at certain people, and certain people can feel discredited about whatever it is that they doing based upon what you said. But you could have had that same conversation with this youngster behind closed doors and uplifted him, and then came back and got the same notoriety that you wanted from downplaying him that you could have got right here on your show.
And I don't downplay niggas to
Man,
get up.
Hey, Joe, I don't want to disrespect you, and I don't want you to disrespect me, because you ain't never disrespect none. You ain't never took it there with none of them young niggas, so I don't expect you to take it there with me. You did, but this is the thing, nigga. You done a lot to discredit people and say what you had to say about certain artists. And give some advice.
Jay, I agree with everything you're saying.
You agree with me, but why did you do differently?
Well, Jay, when I tell you that I have relationships with these kids and speak to them off platform, you say nobody knows about it. When I say to you that I'm trying to give them some information.
Hey, Joe, I ain't gonna discredit you, because I know you speaking true when you say that, but it ain't all of them. So the ones that you ain't got relationship with and that you talking to like that, and the ones who get the rebuttaling back to you, y'all create other situations that don't need to transpire between grown-ups and kids. Why speak on something that has nothing to do with you or your era? Because that's what's happening at the time, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that respectfully. You speaking on something that can make you relevant at the time.
No.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Why else speak on somebody else's business? I don't speak on nobody's business if it ain't got nothing to do with mine.
Same
But
thing.
you chose to go out your way and speak on somebody else's business.
Jazz, I talk about
hip-hop. Nah, this Junior.
Junior, I talk about hip-hop and music and culture for no other reason than I love it.
I mean, I understand it. We all love it. We all come up under it.
It's none of these
I've been in
reasons
this
that
game.
you're saying.
I've been in this game as long as you've been in it because I was a child when I got in it when you was in it. Except I've been in it longer than you because we still relevant now. So it ain't no disrespect to you. It ain't no taking nothing away from you. It's just goddamn. We don't have to implement ourselves in bullshit when bullshit doesn't transpire to us.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so as you can see, it got a little bit heated, and Jay Prince Jr. wouldn't really back off of his stance. That's how he felt. Nothing was going to change his mind about it. He just wanted to make it known. I didn't really see him criticize Adam 22 the same way when he was on there, and you got to be fair in this, I just think he has a personal gripe with him. Again, media does this. CNN, Fox News, NBC, they do the same type of tactics, just with different subjects. I think it has nothing to do with age or anything, or these kids, he keeps talking about them as youngsters. They're in their 20s. They're adults. They can go rent an apartment, drive a car. They can drink. They can do everything. They're adults. Okay, and they're just haven't experienced as much life. But you get people acting like they're in their 20s when in their 40s. I mean, some people just never grow up, Some people were super grown in their 20s. But anyways, I appreciate you guys, and tell me what you guys thought about it below. It was kind of interesting. It's Jordan Tower with JT News. Don't forget to smash that like button. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.